pay attention to those places in your life that you're still articulating yourself, What I mean by that is those places where where you have to shapeshift, where you have to change yourself, where you have to diminish yourself. Usually that's how shapeshifting shows up most of the time. Or that's the way we articulate ourselves, is by, diminishing ourselves, hiding parts of ourselves, right? Or maybe it might look like us accentuating parts of ourselves in order to be more successful or something like that. But pay attention to those places where you're articulating yourself, because that's where your creation out there, your universe, whatever you want to call it, in front of you, is showing you places where you still have work to do, spiritual work to do, Because even if it's part of your job, that's telling you something, that's reflecting something to you about how you're approaching the world or how you see the world, right? And as long as you feel like you can't show up truly as yourself and still be successful, then that tells you something about the spiritual work you've been doing, or lack of spiritual work, as the case may be, either one or the other, right? So pay attention to those places. They're gold for you. They're gold for us all, and we all will do it. It doesn't matter how far along the path you get. There's always going to be somewhere where you're like, diminishing yourself, or where you're not fully expressing yourself. And you could explain it away by saying, this is a group of strangers. They don't want to see this part of me, right? That's too much information. Or you'll come up with all these logical reasons, why this is happening to you, rather than something you're choosing to do. So pay attention to those places in your life where you're doing that, or where you're still doing that, because that demonstrates to you where you still have some spiritual work to do, where you still have some growth to do. Those places are your edge, your spiritual edge. So, if you could do one thing today, identify where you might be doing that in your life, where you might be articulating yourself, either diminishing yourself or accentuating yourself, or even possibly taking on somebody else's interests, personality traits in order to fit in.